Perfect. Thank you, Gareth. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Here we go. I just hope none of these slaves asks who we buy our money from and how much interest is charged.
As Gareth saying, actually, what an incredible place. So congratulations for all working here, and thank you for having me. It's brilliant
What a ghastly place. I am glad I am not a slave.
to be here with IKEA and Wincanton. I must say, everything's been superb so far, although my team were a little bit sad that there were no meatballs at lunch. But I don't know about how your canteen works, but other than that, it's been brilliant. So thank you
It's good when you can talk shite and the slaves cannot heckle you.
for having me. Now, I think yesterday you would have heard some news about inflation. Today you may have seen what the Bank of England has announced with interest rates, and I'm sure that actually fills many of you with some anxiety, right?
It fucking should terrify you, otherwise the New World Order's plan is not working.
And some concern about what's going on and what does that mean for you and your families.
It means you and your families will be on the street soon. But, because you have all been educated by the NWO system, you have no fucking clue.
Here to tell you that I am totally 100% on it, and it is going to be okay, and we are going to get through this. And that is the most important thing I wanted to let you know today.
When I say we will get through this, I mean my New World Order chums and I will never be challenged by slaves ever again.
Now, you should know, I know this won't make it any easier, but what we're grappling with here is something that many countries around the world are also grappling with at the same time as we are.
Now, that's because the New World Order rules the entire planet through their money printing scam, but I am saying this to you slaves, to make you feel like you are not suffering alone, and there is nothing can be done, and it's not because it's part of the New World Order plan, part of the Great Reset.
That doesn't make it any easier, of course I know that, but it's important for you to know that we're not alone in dealing with this. That's why I set it as my top priority. And look, it's not easy. Right? Rooting out inflation is not easy. It requires difficult decisions. It doesn't happen overnight. But if we don't get on top of it, it would just get worse and it would last longer. And that's not going to do anyone any favors. It's not going to be good for you and your families in the long run. And even though it means I have to make some difficult decisions, that's the type of Prime Minister I am, because I want to do the right thing for you and your families in the long term. Now,
you thick fucks like to think someone is making the tough decisions. So one day you will not be slaves being told by a leader they are going to make the tough decisions for your benefit, and that tough decision is you working harder for less. How's that working out for you?
Now, look, why does inflation matter? Right? Like, why did it matter to me? Why did I set it as my top priority? It's pretty simple. It's because inflation eats into the pounds in your pocket. It's as simple as that. It makes everybody poorer. It means prices go up. It means your savings get eroded. It puts jobs and livelihoods at risk. And that's why it's so important that we target it and get it down. That's why I said I wanted to halve it on its way to getting it back down to 2% where it belongs. And I am absolutely confident that if we hold our nerve and stick to our plan, we will do that.
That's right, everyone will be poorer, the difference being the poor will have to work harder for the rich, and the rich will still be rich compared to the poor. It's a win-win for the money printers, always has been. Keeps everyone in their place.
And you should feel the same confidence that I do, because we are going to get through this and we're going to get this done. Now, why do I feel confident? What is that plan I'm talking about? Well, 3 parts to it. The first is I've got to make sure government is doing everything that it needs to do, and that means being responsible with our borrowing.
The fact governments have been borrowing off of their New World Order banker friends, who have been printing money out of thin air for the last 100 years and charging compound interest, causing you slaves to owe the New World Order bankers $300 trillion is by the by. What matters is you dumb fuckers think we have an inflation problem because you slaves have been living like kings and polluting the planet to boot. And not because the bankers have been printing money like there is no tomorrow, ensuring you remain slaves, who have your children educated by their slave masters.
Right, because we cannot, in a situation like this, borrow too much money, because that makes everything worse. So that means, much as I would love to, I'd love to cut your taxes tomorrow, right? You'd love that, I'd love that. Of course I would, right? That's hard to do, because that means I have to borrow more money to do it, right?
If you only knew, you are slaves, in a system that has you in so much debt. Money to us is just a way to control you. And if you were not educated with New World Order dogma, you might just ask yourself, where did they get the money they sold us to make the world's population owe them $300 trillion? I am just glad I am in the New World Order, you sad fucks.
Another thing is, I can't say yes to every single thing that people want me to spend more money on, right? Because that would mean we'd have to borrow money to do all of that. That means I have to make some difficult choices. I have to prioritize, same as all of you do in your household budgets. I have to do the same thing too. And it means when we're trying to figure out how we pay all our fantastic public sector workers, I need to think about what's affordable, what's responsible, again, so I can manage our borrowing.